Hello students, in the earlier video we have started the human respiratory system part 1 where we have discussed the external layer or the nostril, nasal chambers, the parts of the nasal chambers, then the pharynx, then the larynx or the voice box. So in that we have discussed the first part of the respiratory system. After that the system that will continue from the respiratory tract. So we will start this video from the respiratory tract up to the lungs. So first of all, you just see this respiratory tract. This is the respiratory tract. This respiratory tract will be started first of all from the larynx. From the larynx, the air that will be passed down into the next part, that is the trachea. So this is known as the trachea. This trachea is around 10 to 11 centimeter long. This is lined with the ciliated epithelium. So why the ciliated epithelium is present? The reason is it helps in repulsion of the mucus and makes the respiratory tract properly clean and clear so that the air can pass inside the lung. So that's why it is going to have the ciliated epithelium. With that, cilia will repel the mucus outside. So this is the trachea. This trachea is also known as the windpipe. Right? Remember that this trachea, right from this trachea up to the tertiary bronchiole, I will tell what is it. Up to the tertiary bronchiole, it is going to have the C-shaped cartilages. Okay, so you can see that only from the ventral side. Suppose this is the C-shaped cartilage. So this C-shaped cartilage will be present only from the ventral side. If you see from the dorsal side, this cartilage, C-shaped cartilage, will not be present. So what we are going to have, the C-shaped cartilage, and the reason why the C-shaped cartilages are present, that actually helps in withstanding the pressure due to the inspiration and expiration. The respiratory tract can collapse, okay, and to prevent collapsing from this pressure changes, that's why this respiratory tract or this trachea on a windpipe that is provided with a C-shaped cartilage, which prevents the respiratory tract from collapsing. So remember that it is provided with the C-shaped cartilages. How many numbers? It is going to have 16 to around 20 numbers of cartilage. From where to where? From trachea up to the tertiary bronchiole. Okay. So you just see this trachea, which is around 10 to around 11 centimeter long. Then after that it will lead to the division, or it will get branched, okay, in the region of the fifth thoracic vertebrae. Remember that in this vertebral column we have regions: cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral and coccyx. So that part we will discuss in the chapter. We have a different chapter, that is locomotion and movement. We will discuss all the 206 bones there. Right now I will not going to tell you. So just remember that this trachea that will bifurcate in the region of the fifth thoracic vertebrae, right? So remember that one, and it will form two branches. Each branch that will be known as the bronchus, and singular it is bronchus, plural it is bronchi. So these are known as the primary bronchi. Okay, so this primary bronchi that will actually get branches. Okay, so this trachea will get branched in the fifth thoracic vertebrae. Okay, remember that this is known as the primary bronchi. So this primary bronchi will enter inside the lungs. Okay, so here we have the two lungs. Remember, here we are going to have the right lung and the left lung. So these are the two lungs. Then in this region, this is the right lung. Okay, this is the right lung and this is the left lung. one thing you have to know, this left lung, this is a little bit smaller as compared to the right lung. What is the reason? The reason is in the here what we are going to have the cardiac notch. Okay, this is the space for the heart, so that's why the left lung is a little bit smaller than the right lung. So here, what is this? This is around 565 gram in weight, the left lung, and this right lung is around 625 gram. Okay, remember that. And this respiratory tract will end in one region. What is that? That is the diaphragm. So this is called as the diaphragm. Actually, this diaphragm is not that flat, so it will be a elevated structure. So it is like this. Okay, and it is elevated. Why it is elevated towards the right lung? Because it has to take just after diaphragm, what we are going to have the liver, so that we can accommodate liver. So that's why this diaphragm is a little bit elevated towards the right side, and towards the left side is going a little below. Okay, so what is that? This structure, this is known as the diaphragm. Okay, remember that. So it is elevated towards right side. Okay, remember that. Now if you see the lung from outside, then what we are going to see, that both the right and the left lung, this is going to have some depression. Okay, and that makes actually divide the lung into two complete lobes. One is called as the superior lobe, another is known as the inferior lobe. So what is this? This is called as the fissure. This is known as the oblique fissure. Okay, so oblique fissure, this is actually common to both the right and the left lung. But there is another fissure that is present on the right side, right lung. What is this? This is called as the horizontal fissure. So this horizontal fissure is present only in the right lung but not in the left lung. So this thing you have to remember. This question came a number of times in your medical examinations, in NEET examination, that oblique fissure or the horizontal fissure that is common to both the right and the left lung. So remember that. So one thing also you have to know, that this lung, both these two lungs, that are actually been lined by a membrane. This is actually two membranes present. Okay, and these membranes are known as the pleural membranes. Okay, so what is this? This is called as the pleura or pleural membrane. So it has been two membranes. Okay, one is this is the internal pleura, suppose. Okay, so this is the internal pleura. So this internal pleura is known as the visceral pleura. Okay, and visceral pleura, that is actually facing towards the lung, and towards the outside what we are going to have the another pleural membrane. Okay, what is that? This is known as the parietal pleura. Okay, so it is going to have two pleural membranes. Remember that. One is the outside, that is parietal pleura or parietal pleural membrane, and inside what we are going to have the internal or the visceral pleura. So outside what we are going to have the parietal pleura. So this parietal pleura is present towards the outside, and the visceral pleura that is present from the inner side. Okay, remember that. What is the importance? Why we have the pleura? This pleura is actually going to protect both the two lungs. It is going to secrete a fluid that is called as the pleural fluid. Remember, here it is going to secrete the pleural fluid. Okay, so this pleural fluid actually preventing the friction, okay, so that whenever the lung is going to expand and relax expanding, then at that time maybe it is possible that the lung towards the peripheral side it can get damaged. And to prevent damage, actually what we have this fluid that is called as the pleural fluid that is secreted by the pleural membrane. So this pleural membrane will secrete the pleura, which is also protecting the lung from any friction, right? Remember that. And if it is happening that sometime this pleural fluid is not able to be secreted, then yes, the lung will get damaged, right? So remember that this is important. Now, remember both this right and about the left lung. Left lung is a little smaller. It is around 565 gram, which is divided into only two lobes. One is the superior lobe and another is the inferior lobe. But if it is coming to the right lung, then it is divided into three lobes because of the presence of the horizontal fissure. What are they? First one, this is the superior lobe, this is middle lobe, and this is the internal or inferior lobe, right? Why? This is because of the presence of the horizontal fissure. Now, after that, you can see what we have discussed up to the primary bronchi, right? So this primary bronchi is going to get divided, okay? It will get branched, okay? So this way it will get branched, right? This will be known as the secondary bronchi. Then from the secondary bronchi, what we are going to have, I will show only one, that will be known as the tertiary bronchi. So this one will be the tertiary bronchi. From the tertiary bronchi, the next part will be the bronchioles, okay? So here, this part, this will be the bronchiole, okay? Then after that, here what we are going to have the next part, that is the conducting part. That conducting part actually is what? This is the region where the air exchange will take place. After that, see the next one, that this bronchiole will lead to the next part. What is the next part? See here, suppose this is the next part. So this next part will be known as the alveolar duct. Alveolar duct will lead to the next part, that is the atria. So this will be the atria, and atria will lead to the next part, that will be the alveolar sac. So this will be the alveolar sac. So this alveolar sac will lead to the next part, that are the alveoli or the air sac, okay? This will lead to the next one, that is the alveoli, okay? So what is the alveoli? Alveoli is nothing but the air sac within which the air will be present, where the air will exchange with the blood vessels. So once again I will tell you, first of all, what we have, the trachea or the windpipe. Windpipe will get divided in the region of the fifth thoracic vertebrae, that is known as the primary bronchi. This primary bronchi will be divided to form the secondary bronchi. Secondary bronchi to the next, that is tertiary bronchi. Tertiary bronchi to get branched once it again to the next one, that is bronchiole. Bronchiole will get branched once again to the alveolar ducts. Alveolar ducts can get branched into the atria. Atria will get branched to the alveolar sac, and eventually the alveolar sac will lead to the alveoli. Okay, so remember that from this part, that is the trachea up to the bronchi, okay, up to the bronchiole, this is the conducting part, okay, this is the conducting part. And from this alveolar duct to the alveolar sac to the alveoli, this will be known as the exchanging part. Okay, what is the conducting and the exchanging part? Remember, this conducting part will actually conduct the air into the alveoli, and this exchanging part, where the blood vessel will exchange the gases, carbon dioxide and oxygen, with the with that vessels, that is the alveolar sac or the alveoli. With that it will go into exchange. One thing remember, that this alveoli will secrete one slippery type of substances. Okay, so this one that will prevent the alveoli to get collapsing with the next alveoli. So if you see the alveoli if you flatten all the alveoli of both the two lungs, it will be the surface area of around a tennis court. Okay, so that much alveoli we have. So this alveoli that will help in exchanging the gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide, with the capillaries or the blood vessels. One thing you have to remember, the color of both the two lungs, they are pinkish whenever we are born. As the time passes, whenever we breathe, suppose the polluting air, or if that individual is a smoker, if that individual is habituated with cigarette smoking, then this lung will start to turn grayish and blackish. Okay, that can lead to different type of diseases. I will tell you what are all those diseases that are all important also. So this is generally pinkish in color at the time of birth, and it will turn grayish whenever we grow older. Even if suppose that individual is not a smoker, then he breathed the polluted air, and due to the polluted air also the color of the lung that can change to grayish or blackish in color. So yes, that is the next part of the human respiratory system. Yes, we have completed the human respiratory system. Remember this diaphragm that will elevate, that make the two lungs possible for the inspiration and expiration. So this diaphragm is very much important, that will elevate like this. Okay, and then get flattened, which help both the two lungs, so that we can have inspiration and expiration. So yes, that is the diaphragm which make the lungs possible for help in increasing and decreasing the volume of lung to carry out inspiration and expiration. Right? So yes, that is all about the whole respiratory system of human body. So first part already we have discussed in the last video, and this video together you have to know. This will complete the human respiratory system. I will tell once it again from the first, that is from the nostril. That nostril is also known as the external nair, that will lead to the next part, that is nasal chamber. Nasal chamber will open to the internal nair. Internal nair will lead to the next part, that is pharynx. Pharynx to the larynx, larynx to trachea, trachea to the primary bronchi, to secondary, then tertiary bronchi, then bronchiole, then alveolar duct, atria, alveolar sac, and then the alveoli. So this way we have completed understanding the whole respiratory system. In the next video we will see the mechanism of breathing. So that's all about the video. I hope you understand. Make the note for both this human respiratory system by both these two videos. So that's all about the human respiratory system. I hope you understand this video. You just please do watch the video, then only you will be able to understand. So yeah, that is all about the video. Thank you.